All right, so I, 34M, work in a very serious corporate environment. The kind where people use words like synergy and actionable insights with a straight face. My boss, Greg, is the human embodiment of a LinkedIn post. He thinks that if you're not networking, you're basically wasting oxygen. A few weeks ago, we had a meeting so important that Greg had been prepping for it like it was the Super Bowl. The company's top executives were coming in, and if we played our cards right, we could land the Henderson account. No one knows what this account actually is, but we all pretended it was life-changing. So, picture this. A massive boardroom filled with the most humorless people alive. Everyone in stiff suits. PowerPoint slides on the screen. Greg, standing at the front, using his executive voice to talk about market expansion strategies like it's the plot of an action movie. And then, I saw him, outside the window, in a courtyard. A duck. Not just any duck. A duck with purpose. A duck who had clearly seen some things. He was staring directly at me, with an intensity that said, I choose you. I tried to ignore it. I really did. But then more ducks started appearing behind him. First one, then 3, then 10. All of them standing in an eerie little formation, like they were plotting something. Greg kept talking about aggressive expansion, and right on cue, the lead duck slammed into the glass window with a loud thud. I let out a noise that I can only describe as a mix between a laugh and a dying car engine. Greg stopped mid-sentence. Something funny, OP. Now, this was my moment to be professional, to act like an adult. But instead, I just pointed at the window and blurted out, there's an angry duck outside. Everyone turned. And that's when things went full chaos. Because at that exact moment, the duck army charged. I don't know how, I don't know why, but suddenly there were at least 30 ducks flapping, honking, and running straight toward the office building. It was like they were reenacting the Battle of Helm's Deep, but with more feathers. Then, one of them found the open side door. The lead duck waddled in. You have never seen a room of professionals lose their composure this fast. One guy jumped onto his chair like the floor was lava. The intern tried to shoo the duck away and immediately slipped on his own coffee. The CFO, a man who once made us sit through an hour-long presentation about budget forecasting, let out a full-on scream and hid behind the projector screen. And Greg? Greg just stood there, absolutely done with life. But it gets worse, because the ducks kept coming, one by one, like some kind of feathered revolution. A duck somehow managed to turn off the projector by pecking the power strip. Another one waddled over to the conference table, saw its own reflection in a water bottle, and attacked itself. One executive tried to assert dominance by making himself look big. It didn't work. The duck just flapped at him aggressively until he panicked and ran out of the room. The intern, still on the floor, just whispered, "This is how it ends." And then came the grand finale. The lead duck, whom I had mentally named General Quackers, hopped onto the table and stared down Greg. Greg stared back. It was like an old Western showdown. No one moved. No one spoke. And then, the duck stole Greg's laser pointer. He grabbed it in his beak and just yeeted himself off the table, taking it with him. That was it. That was the breaking point. I completely lost it. I was on the floor, crying with laughter. I sounded like a deflating balloon. Greg? Greg closed his laptop, sighed, and walked out without a word. The meeting was over. The Henderson account was doomed. Later that day, HR sent out a company-wide email titled Avian Interference Protocols and specifically stated that employees should not engage in negotiations with unauthorized wildlife. So, Ada for completely derailing the meeting because of a duck invasion?